So let us dive into the topic of discussion. KVL, KCL. I'm going to give you some really important, critical nuggets of understanding that if you are able to systematically and properly apply, KVL, KCL, and circuit analysis in general will become a lot easier for you. Okay, so let's start with KVL. The mathematical form, extremely simple, straightforward. The sum of all the voltage changes, voltage gains plus the voltage drops will be equal to 0. Very simple, very straightforward. Okay, so if we have a voltage gain in a closed loop circuit, there must be a voltage drop equal to the same amount, and that will be equal to 0. All right, it's as simple as that. But the issue is when you're dealing with circuit analysis, applying these laws, applying these rules real time in a circuit can be extremely challenging. And I'll give you a couple of examples. All right. The key point to understand over here is the passive sign convention. And KVL is basically the law of conservation of energy. The gain in energy and the loss in energy should all equal out to 0. What is passive sign convention? Passive sign convention is very simple. When you have current flowing through a resistor, please listen to this carefully. There will always be a voltage drop. You can memorize it. You can take it to the bank. It's a writing on the wall on the stone. It never changes. There will never ever be a voltage gain across a resistor. Is that clear? All right. The issue is that it's not that straightforward when we are dealing with a voltage source. The general intuitive sense would tell you that if I have a battery, I encounter a battery, I should always have a voltage gain. Not true. It depends. What does it depend on? It depends on the direction of the current. Okay. If the current is leaving the positive terminal and entering the negative terminal, then that's a voltage gain. But when the current is entering the positive terminal and leaving the negative terminal, it will be a voltage drop. Look up the FE reference handbook under electrical and computer section. This is missing. This is one of the most common mistakes that students make when they're dealing with circuit analysis, both in FE and PE. I'm going to repeat it one more time. A resistor is encountered, current going through it, left or right, always a voltage drop. One thing that you should remember is that the terminal through which the current enters a resistor is marked as a positive terminal. Honestly, it doesn't have that much of a significance, but if you want to be up and up in terms of convention, sure, make note of this. But the real action is over here. I have a voltage source. Okay. If the current leaves the positive terminal, then only I'm going to record it as a voltage gain. If the current enters a positive terminal, it will be a voltage drop. That's the only thing I want you to take away from KVL. It's as simple as that. And the real application of KVL is in mesh analysis. Let's look at KCL. KCL is also very simple, extremely simple mathematically, that the sum of all the currents that are entering a node should be equal to the sum of all the currents that are leaving the node. What's the big deal? Very intuitive, right? So if you have a junction, right? And the sum of all the cars that are entering here should be equal to sum of all the cars that are leaving. It's as simple as that. But what is the issue? Here's the issue with KCL. Students are not able, when they make mistake, they are not able to translate the directions of current and their assumptions into proper equations that are consistent with those assumptions. Okay, that's the big issue with KCL. And another thing you must remember is that there is no right or wrong assumption. Obviously, there is a right or wrong answer. There's only one correct answer as far as the magnitude and direction of the current is concerned. But if your assumptions are off, KCL will automatically take care of it by giving you a negative current. So when you're going through circuit analysis, don't freeze yourself. Don't get paralyzed that let me actually just somehow figure out what is the correct answer or the correct direction for the current. Because if I don't select the correct direction, I'm not going to be able to solve it. That's wrong. That's not the case. If you know what you're doing, it will all work out. I have tons of success stories on my YouTube channel. Somebody was asking about the YouTube channel. You can feel free to check that out for both FE electrical as well as P power. If you guys follow me on LinkedIn or are connected second degree, first degree, you'll find tons of reviews on LinkedIn as well. Every week, students are tagging me once after they pass the FE electrical P power exam, and even on Reddit and stuff. If you guys want, I can give you a quick overview of what it looks like, the program looks like on the inside. So this is the on-demand program, FE electrical. So you can see mathematics. Okay, I have lots of lectures, quizzes, lectures, quizzes, lectures, quizzes. So for each and every part of the specification item, algebra, straight lines is divided into a dedicated lecture and then a quiz. And within the lectures, you will basically find downloadable PDFs containing the key formulas, equations, and whatnot. Then you can use as part of your notes. And then when you go through the content, there are detailed explanations. I go through the conceptual overview and then practice problems and then the quizzes with detailed solutions. And this is just math on the left-hand side, right? So it's streamlined. It's a one-stop shop basically with all the resources that are available to you. And then I have time mini exams at the end. We were talking about circuit analysis, right? So let's jump to circuit analysis. So right here. So I have KCL, 19-minute lecture, calculator tutorial, explaining you how to go about solving the multiple linear equations, additional practice problems on KCL, then deep dive on KCL, right? KVL, I have a dedicated lecture, additional practice problems, series parallel equivalent circuits, Thevenin theorem, additional practice problems, deep dive. So this is all circuit analysis, right? I mentioned about computer sections earlier. So let's just jump ahead to computer sections. Even if you have zero background in computers, check this out. In computer networks, I have about 20 plus lectures. So if you're starting from zero reference, you can go through this content and rest assured that most likely you're going to be over prepared, right? And if you are weak in digital systems or any topic for that reason, computer systems, if you haven't taken computer, if you haven't taken software engineering or software course, then you can go through a bunch of these lectures as well. And then a full-length computer simulator practice exam at the end. As far as the live training is concerned, the live training is starting on January 11th. And I have lots of students who are enrolling right now with the goal of covering at least a couple of sections before the live classes start. So I review the big 5 topics up front in the first 5 weeks. And in a fairly short period of time, by 30th of March, you're going to see that the entire 17 section for FE electrical and computer exam will be covered. And as far as the live training is concerned, the expectation is that students are basically going to be working through the topics of the week that I assign, lectures and quizzes, they complete them. I put together focus summaries for them that they can go through at 1.25, 1.5x. I give them weekly homework assignments on every single topic, and then study guide they can utilize as well. These are the crash course summaries. And then during the class, then we basically go through all of these topics in detail. And over a 12-week period, you're going to see that we'll be covering all the exam sections in a fairly efficient time. I also have a very active community. So as far as the support network is concerned, if you have any questions, you are not going to be stranded. You can always ask questions over here. You can, let's say you're operating in mathematics. If you have a question, you can post the question in mathematics, and you can see that students are asking questions all the time, very frequently, and they're getting responses from my teaching assistants and from myself in detail. Okay, so this student asked question 3 hours ago at 9:14 a.m., right? And the teaching assistant responded back at 11:13 a.m. with a detailed response. Okay, and again, same thing over here, and then I get detailed response over here. And this is broken out section by section, topic by topic. And even over here, you can see tons of success stories. Students are posting every Wednesday when they pass the FE exam, when they pass the PE exam, right? Yeah. And then as far as the P is concerned, I have a separate categories. You can, whether you're operating in general power engineering measurement instrumentation, whether you're operating in circuit section 3, section 2, very detailed responses, and you will never be alone in terms of your preparation. As far as the P power program is concerned, let me just quickly show you. Remember I told you about the instrument transformers, that they are not even mentioned in the reference handbook. So when you check this out, part 1, instrument transformers, conceptual corner quizzes, okay? And then you have part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, detailed explanations, multiple quizzes, and so on, okay? Check out the codes and standards section if you haven't already started your preparation. As I mentioned earlier, about 15 to 20% of the exam is contained there. So this is section number 1, by the way, on the left-hand side. And these are not Mickey Mouse lectures, 34 minutes long. Some of them are 1 hour long, 18 minutes, 20 minutes, right? So NEC part 1 contains an overview. Part 2, conductor sizing. Part 3 is overcurrent protection. And then you have wiring. Then you have junction box sizing, and so on and so forth. Okay. And at the very end, when you come across protection, which is a topic that's missing in the reference handbook, tons and tons of details on that as well. And the live training program for the P power, same story. Starting on 11th of January, we're going to wrap it up 30th of March, and we're going to sequentially work through all of the sections, all of the topics, and basically get the job done. Typically, students schedule their exam within 3 to 4 weeks of the completion of the live training program if they're making use of the bundle. And that gives them the opportunity to do the practice problems, address the weak areas, do practice exams, sample exams, and gives them an idea of, opportunity to consolidate their learning.